Good afternoon, guys. Happy Friday. Hopefully, this mini masterclass is going to hit you just in time for the weekend and any social events you've got coming up. So today I'm going to talk through my strategies to stop social events ruining your fat loss progress. So this is for you if you feel like every time you go out during the week or the weekend, at different social events, it's taking your progress backwards instead of forwards. So if you feel like you're stuck in cycles of being good with your diet all week, but you're not successfully losing fat because of work events or social events, meals out during the week, I'm going to outline for you my top 3 strategies to ensure you can still enjoy a night out without the guilt and disappointment and still achieve fat loss results that we want. And also what I'd like to add is I think that it'll give you that feeling, that extra boost of self-motivation from feeling in control of the situation, right? Because ultimately that's what's going to help us the next day with any of those kind of guilty feelings that we've got. What I'd like you to remember, I've added in an extra one here for your benefit. Remember to amp up your nights out or any social occasion. So let's begin. Avoid alcohol. So there are a few reasons for this, but this is one strategy that is pretty easy to remember and to implement. That will help you for sure stay on track. And I'd even go as far to say, if you avoid alcohol entirely, it will give you a bit more of a free rein to be much more free about what food choices you make. So what I'm trying to say is, rather than thinking, well, I've got to be really strict when I go to Nando's and not order the chips, if you're avoiding drinking any alcohol, and you usually do have alcohol on your nights out, then I would say you can go for it and order the chips, because the likelihood is by avoiding drinking, you're going to outweigh by far the damage of eating a few extra calories at that meal. So why do we want to avoid alcohol? It is empty calories. Gram for gram, it's the second highest of fat. So alcohol has got about 7 calories per gram. Fat has 8 calories per gram. The difference, though, between alcohol and fat is that if you ate something that was a high fat food, you're probably going to feel very full afterwards. Drinking the same amount of calories from alcohol is not going to satiate you. Alcohol isn't filling, right? And you know this. You can have plenty of drinks of alcohol. So if you drink alcohol that adds up to like 1,000 calories, you're not going to feel full afterwards. Eating food that's worth 1,000 calories is going to make you feel full, and then you're probably not going to want to eat much more after that. Actually, what alcohol does is it promotes hunger. It's not satiating. It makes you feel hungry. So it makes you eat more. They did some studies where they gave participants, I think it was like 3 glasses, 375 mils, about 3 glasses of wine, either before they had a meal or during their meal. And both sets of participants ate about 25% more food than those that did not consume any alcohol. So as well as adding in all the calories from it, it also makes you hungrier. It's a double whammy of bad stuff if you're trying to lose body fat. Like we all know, you're going to have an impact on the next day. If you've got that hungover feeling, if it's impacted your sleep, tiredness makes you really want sugar for energy, where your body is so tired, it's just trying to get more energy from sugary foods. We've all had that feeling. Or wanting to have a fry up the next day because you feel like you need to soak it up. I don't know about you guys, but I know as I've got older, I just can't, I get a hangover even if I just have 1 glass of anything. So that is something that you might want to think about avoiding as well. Another little fact about alcohol, which I haven't popped on here: when you're training, excessive alcohol can reduce your muscle growth by about 20 to 30%. So all of that work you're doing in the gym, all of that protein that you're eating, the effects of the toxins in alcohol will reduce your muscle growth, your gains basically as well. And we know that more muscle means a higher metabolism, which means that you're going to burn more energy while at rest, which means that eventually you can start to eat more and not put on any weight, which is the place where we all want to get to. Lastly, alcohol is full of sugar and it's going to spike your blood glucose levels, which there's been a lot of talk about recently. It's obviously a natural thing that when you eat food, your glucose levels spike. It's not a bad thing. But again, because of the toxins in alcohol, it spikes it slightly differently, and your body doesn't respond in the same way as if you ate something that contained naturally occurring sugars. Or back to that one, a note on this. If you're somebody that finds it quite difficult to say no, and people's like, oh, go on, have a drink, have a glass of wine, da da da. I'd like you to come up with a reason. So remember, we talked about your whys. Come up with a really good reason why you're not drinking alcohol, right? Feel free here to elaborate a little bit if you feel like it's getting you a get out of jail free card. For example, like dry January, or you're doing alcohol as part of a challenge, or I had a client once that was really struggling with this because she really, felt susceptible to the peer pressure on nights out. Her mum wasn't actually very well. She said, I'm not drinking in solidarity with my mum because she's been told to avoid alcohol while she's not very well. And everyone was like, okay, yeah, cool, of course, right? We'll back off of you. So have a reason, get something in your back pocket that you can say where you can kind of get out of jail free card with this if you're going on a night out or something like that. Manage your choices. So if you've got a few events planned, maybe one of them that you do want to have a couple of drinks for, or you're going for dinner with the girls and you haven't seen them and you just really want to have an Aperol Spritz, so that first option isn't really one that you want to choose. Think about managing what you're going to eat. Most restaurants now will have the menus, they'll have the calories, plan it out, manage what you're going to eat. Find something that you are actually going to enjoy eating that's going to fit in as much as possible to your daily calories. With that as well, think about managing and moderating your alcohol. So you might say, okay, I'm going to have 2 Aperol Spritz and then pop that into your tracker. Make sure you're managing it, right? It's not a night off. For these events and things, think about you're just turning the dial down, right? We're not stopping completely. If our weight loss was kind of like a song, like there's some points where your motivation's high, you're going to turn the volume right up. And there's some points where actually you want to turn the volume down so you can enjoy things, but you're not turning it off completely. Like you have to be able to manage it. Keep a track of everything that you're eating as much as possible. If it doesn't have the calories on the menu, you can't log it into your tracker, go for the closest thing. You're better to put something in than nothing, rather than your calories that day saying you only ate 800 calories when actually you know it's going to be way more than that. And then you can manage it. For the rest of the week, you can manage. You maybe want to add in more steps every day. You maybe want to take down your calories every day by 100 or 200. It's not that much, 100 calories is absolutely nothing. It's switching to like fry light oil instead of olive oil. It's that simple. And then you can manage throughout the week, plan it into your week. If you know you're going out on a Wednesday, have a look at it beforehand. When you're sitting in bed scrolling, think about what you're going to do, manage it, plot it all in, track it. And the last one, nice and easy, prepare and prioritize. So kind of similar to the managing when we're talking about preparing, but prepare for these events during the day as much as possible. What sometimes happens, and the strategy that people take on a lot, which I think doesn't really work, is you go, I'm not eating anything all day to kind of bank those calories. But what happens is you end up getting super hangry, and then you're just going to go even wilder than you were before. Prepare during the day. This is good if you're doing something like a festival where wherever you're going doesn't have the calories. You can't prepare what you're going to eat. I just want you to think about preparing during the week, preparing during the day. Prepare a really high protein breakfast, something like scrambled eggs, maybe a bit of smoked salmon. I'm going to add in 1 slice of toast or no toast. And then same thing for your lunch. Something like a chicken salad would be a really, really good option. So you're feeling nice and full and satiated. You know you've got lots of protein in. And then when you go to that event or whatever it might be that you're doing, you'll be like, you're not in that hangry state where everything that comes at you, you're just going to want to put in your face. You're like, okay, well, I'm now going to prioritize what I'm going to eat. So when you're there, think about prioritizing protein, fiber, and prioritize whole foods. So say if you're at a wedding or something, okay, listen, sometimes, I'm going to get into this, say you're at a wedding or something, and you see the canapes coming around and there's like mini macaroni and cheeses or some beef or some smoked salmon. Okay, I'm going to prioritize the one with protein in because that's going to fill me up more than the macaroni and cheese, which is just a lot of carbohydrates, saturated fat. Prioritize whole foods where you can. So again, this might not be something that you can do where you're at an event where everything's catered to you. But if it's something like a barbecue and you've got choices, prioritize whole food. So really try and avoid ultra processed food. Ultra processed food is basically a food that's been processed so much that it contains little or no whole foods. So that's something that you wouldn't recognize if I showed it to you. So you know, looking at that list of ingredients, what it is. There's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is that whole foods, anything in its whole state, tends to burn about 50% more energy in digestion than something that is really ultra processed, like a donut, for example. A donut is not going to take you a lot of energy to digest, right? It's so far removed from what the whole food is. Similarly to something like an apple, I don't know the like for like sugar content, but you could look at something like for like sugar, because we know fruit is high in naturally occurring sugars, but it's going to take your body so much more energy to break down that whole food, the fiber, you're getting the micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, all the rest of it. Super ultra processed foods get broken down really, really easily. And they also tend to be way less satiating. So again, if you go for that donut, let's think about, I'm going to pretend like for like calories, 2 donuts and an entire bag of apples. You're going to feel way more full from eating that entire bag of apples than you would from eating 2 donuts. So prioritize whole foods, prioritize protein. We know again that's satiating, that's going to fill you up. You're going to make sure that you are still getting those gains that you've got during the gym, keeping your muscle mass high, keeping your metabolism high. And think about preparing as much as you can during the day and the week. So like I said before, managing, prepare your week. Think, okay, how can I bank a few extra calories here or there? How can I make sure that I'm preparing myself in the day so I'm not going into a situation feeling super hangry where I know I'm going to make probably not the right choices for my weight loss. The last one here that I've added in a little A, so AMPAR. Ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this night out, is this event worth sacrificing my progress? And I'm saying this because sometimes it absolutely is. And like I said, that is totally fine. Think about yourself just dialing down rather than completely switching off. You're just dialing down your efforts this night because it is absolutely worth it. It might be a big birthday, like your 40th birthday. It might be a wedding. It might be a holiday that you've been looking forward to all year. Sometimes it's absolutely worth it to disregard all of this stuff and just completely enjoy yourself. But remember that it's your consistency overall which is going to yield results, right? So if you're out every Tuesday night for work drinks, sometimes is that going to be worth it? Probably not. I would think about these as those real big events where you really kind of want to throw everything out of the window and completely enjoy yourself. Ask yourself, are those Tuesday night work drinks worth you sacrificing your progress on? If the answer is no, then try and implement some of those strategies. So cheers to that, guys. I hope you have lovely weekends and I hope you feel like this has empowered you somewhat going into those social events or things that might have thrown you before, with some strategies how you can still maintain your progress, have a great time and achieve all of your goals. So have lovely weekends and I will speak to you soon.